Hey folks, this is Mike Tholfsen from the Microsoft Education team. We're here for the latest episode of Remote Learning with Microsoft EDU. And today is very special. I like to say it's like the Teams Education Hall of Fame show. We've got Mr. Justin Chando, who's going to be talking about the state of the teams. Instead of State of the Union, it's State of the Teams, because there's been a lot going on. And then we've also got Jeni Long and Sallee from Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD. They're going to be on talking all about teams and the cool things that they've been doing. And so just to get going in the beginning, as we always do, we've got a few links to review. The Microsoft EDU remote learning site, it's always getting updated and improved. We got some new parent information on there as well now. There's the Teams EDU Quick Start Guide. That has been super popular. So if you're brand new to Teams or you're trying to get your school to understand at a really basic level, this is just a PDF guide in multiple languages now that is really simple and easy to get up and running with. And then be sure to sign up for our remote EDU learning community. We've got over 5,000 educators from all across the globe. We're collaborating with, the product team is in there, Justin and myself are in there. Many of us are working, helping, and learning from each other in the remote learning community. So if you're not already there, please join us. We are more than happy to have you. So for today's updates, a few different things here. One, I've been adding, this is my Teams Quick Tip video playlist on YouTube. I've been adding more and more to that. I've added a few more in the last couple of days. Just little 2-minute videos, save you time, get up and running. You don't need to have the entire set of buffet courses all at once. You only have to consume one little thing at a time. We've also just updated today. I've got a list on the next slide. Big announcements for Teams meetings. So we've been rapidly listening to your feedback, and the engineering teams have been hard at work adding new capabilities. I'll cover them briefly just because there's so much information around about meetings and a lot of questions about can my meetings do this? Can it do that? So the team's been listening and adapting to feedback quickly. And then this great list that our producer Maryline has put together. So there's all these links out there, AKA links and other links. And Maryline's curated this beautiful list of all these frequent education links. So that is a great one to go check out and make sure you've got it bookmarked because it aggregates all these resources. So just briefly, because this is probably one of the questions I get the most, and I think Justin Chando probably does too, is I've heard that Teams meetings does X, Y, and Z. Does it do A, B, and C? And when is HIJ coming out? And so this is just a little table. We've made so many announcements in the last week. So there's some stuff that just rolled out, like end meeting for all participants. That is now rolled out, so the teacher can end the meeting for all the students all at once with a single click. Custom video background, like you're seeing my Minecraft background, and Justin's got some cool backgrounds. That is literally rolling out right now, so your Teams meetings can now have custom backgrounds. Attendance reports for meetings is coming in April. The raised hand feature is coming in late April. Today, we just announced 3x3 video support, so 9 videos all at once, and you can still do the live captions for inclusive meetings. That starts to roll out in late April. And then another great one, our IT administrator will be able to do settings so that only the educator can start the meeting. So students can't go in there and start the meeting first. If this setting is set at the tenant level, only teachers can start those meetings. So that'll be really nice. And then there's some other meeting policies coming out where the IT administrator will be able to set it so the default role of every meeting that's created would be the teacher is the organizer and all the students are attendees. So what that means is the teacher doesn't have to go into meetings options every time and set the students as attendees, so they don't have the ability to mute people or remove people. You'll be able to set that at the education tenant level so that all meetings by default are teachers, organizers with all the rights that organizers get, and students are attendees. So a bunch of top asks. Please keep the feedback coming. We're listening and we're working on even more stuff that'll be coming out and announced later on. And so with that, we've got Mr. Justin Chando. This guy has been really, really busy in the last month, as you can imagine. He's been globe-trotting from his computer and helping out educators all over the world. So, Mr. Justin, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I will just be a slide clicker at this point. So welcome, Justin.
Thank you so much, Mike. Hello, everyone. It is great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Justin Chando. I'm a product manager on the Microsoft Education team. I focus on Teams for Education. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I think Mike said it really well. You know, we've been heads down helping millions and millions and millions of students and educators transition to remote learning really, really quickly. And it's been in partnership with all of you and with school systems and school districts around the world to make this happen. And we're all in this together. I really just appreciate everyone's time to jump in and learn more. I thought I would give you a quick Teams update, if you will, because things are changing rapidly. You saw some of the latest updates from Mike 2 seconds ago. Those have all come from your great feedback. But whether you've been using Teams for years or you're just getting started, I think this session today is going to give a good overview of Teams and also go into some of the details of what's working for remote learning along with Jeni and Sallee on this webinar today. So Mike, let's get into it. You know, what is Teams and in the context of remote learning? I mean, it was really made for this moment. We're really thankful for all of the teacher and educator feedback we've had over the past few years, but to combine things for creating collaborative classrooms to engage students asynchronously, but also synchronously through live meetings and direct instruction through groups or through your entire class. Creating a class team is a great way to get everyone together. But it also has that capability to have professional learning communities connect and engage. You think about teacher-to-teacher collaboration and having educators work with each other to build the best content, the best resources, and to collaborate on building shared collective efficacy for their students. And then, of course, staff and all the other types of communication. It's really that hub for learning and the way that you can run your school. So we're really excited about all of the traction we've had so far. And if you look at the next slide here, Teams has grown dramatically in just the past few weeks. I mean, as we've helped and partnered with school systems around the world, now with 44 million daily active users of Teams, and in education, 183,000 school systems, districts, universities, each with potentially dozens of schools inside of them. It has been just an insane ride, to say the least, but it's been in partnership with all of you to make this happen, and the feedback that you've had has definitely been loud and clear here on our side on the product team. So lots more people using Teams, and that has really been a dramatic impact to education, the way that we all connect and engage remotely. So when you think about Teams for remote learning, Mike, on the next slide, and I'm telling Mike to switch, it's fun.
Great.
When you think about remote learning with Teams, it really brings a lot of those key components together. You know, the big shift right at the beginning was, how do I connect with my students when I'm at home and they're all at home as well? And you can do that with live online meetings where you can schedule when you'll meet live and synchronously and record all those meetings or save them for later. You know, having that space to connect digitally has become really important. I just know that from us working as well with so many educators, but also with each other inside of Microsoft, just being able to connect every day with people live through video calling and meetings has just been transformative to help us keep closer together during this time. But of course, creating a team for your class as well has that capability to have announcements and everyone on the same page to leave feedback and discuss with each other and have rich academic discussions. Pair that with things like assignments and many of the other applications that are built into Teams, you have this really cohesive, collaborative class platform. And of course, it's free for everyone in the world. So, some of the capabilities of Teams, and if you go to the next slide, we have some incredible stories today, and it's really been one of the most inspiring times in my life for sure. One of the most sleepless and tireless times, but also some of the most impactful and inspiring. And it's thanks to stories like these in Italy, where we have the University of Bologna that took their classes, their entire university online in just 3 to 4 days with 80,000 students. You think about that rapid transition and all of the training and the unbelievable things that it takes to do that in such a short period of time. We're so thankful for them and their feedback. Madrid, I mean, 1 million plus students, and you see this with many other ministries of education and entire school systems that have switched to Teams so rapidly, where they've trusted us to engage and connect everyone in a school system. And even Miami-Dade in the United States locally for us, it's been incredible to see them shift just so quickly and see stories of them connecting every day now with students. So some of those stories, and there's many, many more like that, but I just thought I would pick 3. Now, Mike, next slide. Some of the capabilities, and I'll go into, I'll breeze through this so we can get to Jeni and Sallee, of course, but you have that ability to schedule online classes directly inside of Teams, record all those classes and have it stored directly into that stream inside of Microsoft Stream, which automatically transcribes your class session so that later on you can go back, you can search your transcripts, look for when you were talking about soil science and go directly to 14 minutes and 58 seconds in and recap that lecture, that discussion. Share content through screen sharing, through live whiteboard, where we have Microsoft Whiteboard that you can just actually give live instruction directly inside your Teams meeting. And it's integrated with lots of learning management systems, you know, with Canvas, Schoology, Blackboard, Moodle, It's Learning, many others that have now integrated with a very easy way to create Teams meetings right inside your learning platform. I know generally at your district has Canvas installed, but also uses Teams alongside that. So lots of ways to have a better together story. Now, with the class structure itself, one thing that's been very popular is schools hooking up Teams with their student information system or their MIS to automatically create all of those class teams in bulk. And that's through a product we call School Data Sync, Microsoft School Data Sync, which is another free tool with a free concierge that gets on and helps you integrate those two at School Data Sync, sds.microsoft.com. And with that, all of those classes are created automatically and makes it really simple to get started. Other things with the class team, it comes by default with the assignments and grading experiences. So it makes it really easy to assign learning activities directly to your students, integrated with things like the OneNote class notebook and Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all your OneDrive documents where it can share and make copies for each student. And you can assign things, students turn them in, and you can grade with rich feedback using things like rubric grading and many other ways to leave rich feedback and share it directly to your students. At any time, you know, we don't need to be live in the class session. We can do this at any time to keep feedback going in the feedback loop. It's heavily integrated with many other applications right inside of the Teams class experience. On the next slide, you'll see how just the assignment feature itself has a lot of capabilities for you to get started today, and this has become very popular with remote learning. Whether it's distributing your interactive lessons to some or all of your students, you can personalize that to just individual students if you want to just get an activity directly to a handful of students. You can do that really easily. And also the grading and leaving feedback for every student in a very quick way, both in the assignments tab and the relatively new gradebook in the grades tab as well. And, you know, accessibility in Teams, this has really been an important factor for many school systems that have shifted to Teams, in the way that it has so many tools to create inclusive, safe, and fun environments for students, especially in a remote learning environment. The immersive reader, which I'm sure you've heard of, it's integrated in so many places inside of Teams, whether it's inside of an assignment instructions or in your chat and an announcement that you send out to the entire class, making it really simple to read and read aloud, actually, right? So many other ways. The translation inside of Teams chats and channels, really impactful as well. And then live captions. So when you're giving your meeting like this one, turning on live captions and seeing the closed captions as they come through in real time. It's really been impactful.
And I would just add, Justin, there happens to be this Teams playlist link that I showed earlier where I do little 2-minute demos of a lot of the stuff you're talking about, including this.
Those have been super popular, Mike. So now apps for education, this one is just really important when you have an ecosystem of education applications. And we know that schools use lots of other ed tech tools and they want to integrate them directly inside of their learning platform like Teams. So you'll find lots of great tools from Flipgrid to Quizlet, Nearpod, Turnitin, Pear Deck, so many other applications that are just smartly integrated into the Teams workflow and class experience. So that really does make it even more compelling to bring so many things together as that hub. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of Teams, just what it is from a high level, some of the traction and some of the new enhancements we've made, and how some school systems now are really transforming and transitioning to remote learning. And that can be a struggle for everyone. We definitely understand that. And I think Lisa here just said it so eloquently, and I just loved coming across this on Twitter. But because we're all in this together, we're doing this in real time. And for educators around the world to reinvent teaching in such a short period of time has been just incredible to be on the sidelines of. I think of this as a privilege of a lifetime to be a part of and to work with educators and students around the world in this moment. And two of my favorite educators are right here with us, Jeni and Sallee. And you know, they've had to jump straight in to figuring this out alongside many of you. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to learn from them and to see what's been working and what hasn't been working in that shift to remote learning. So Jeni and Sallee, we'll let you take it from here.
All right, thank you, Justin. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here this afternoon. We are so excited to share what we are doing and what our teachers are doing and our students and our whole community and how they're using Teams. So my name is Jeni Long, and my other half is
Sallee Clark. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And together we are Jeni. So we usually do this high five, and you know, we have a whole intro, but we're really this social distancing is cramping our style. So
so true.
We are instructional technologists with Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District, which is a little bit north of Fort Worth, Texas. So we are a Microsoft district. So fortunately, we drink all the Microsoft Kool-Aid. We love everything Microsoft, and our other LMS, like Justin mentioned, is Canvas. So we are integrating both together. But in our district, we have a little over 21,000 students, and we have 27 schools, and we are not a one-to-one district. So we have been just kind of dabbling in Teams over the last few years, and I think it's just amazing, and kudos to all of the educators out there in how we have just jumped in, and you guys have been so willing to learn. Like I keep trying to explain to people, this is like something you have never trained for, never planned on, you know, learning, and just had to learn it overnight. And Mike, will you go to the next screen? Thank you. Before we go further, I just wanted to share too how you can get a hold of us. We would love to connect with you on social media. You can find us on Twitter. We also have a YouTube show and a blog, and we are on Instagram now. And we are also consultants with Ed to the Max, and so we do training for Ed to the Max as well.
Yeah, is it Instagram or your Finstagram? Which one is it? Is it your real one or your fake one? That's the question.
Well,
sorry,
you know, we have our real one and so many accounts I can't keep up, but
ones that your kids don't look at is your Finstagram.
Right, I don't have one of those. I'm public. Everything's public. But we just really want to share some of the great things that our teachers are doing, and just kind of a little history of our story. We came back after spring break, spring break ended for us March 13th. And that week we, heard that we were not returning back to school. And within days, it was like 2 days, 3 days, our curriculum department and directors and everybody and, superintendents, everybody got together and put together a plan in our team. And we led, online PD for our teachers in 1 day and taught, different platforms, and Teams was our main primary, well, we did it through Teams. That was our primary means of holding the trainings. But, our teachers were just so receptive to it, and it's just been amazing. And we'll talk to you a little bit more about how that has progressed and what we're doing for supporting our teachers. But it's just been an adventure, and every day gets better and better. And we are just blown away at how our teachers have learned so much in days. It's just unbelievable. But I'm going to pass it on to Sallee, and she's going to share some really exciting things too.
Right. Well, we actually think it's really funny that Justin just called it an ecosystem, Teams, because one of our 5th grade students exactly called it that. So she was in her math and science channel in Teams, and she said her friend posted something, then she posted something, and then before she knew it, everyone was commenting on it. And so it really is an ecosystem, even within Teams. And so one small change can make a big difference. And we thought that was really ingenious of her to make that connection. But it really is an ecosystem. We love how Teams, everything we do is connected, easy. People can find it. It really is seamless and has made remote learning super great for us. Not only is Teams an ecosystem, so is our MIE expert family. And Jeni kind of mentioned it earlier, but we also think it's amazing because we connect with our fellow educators on Twitter, Facebook, Teams, GroupMe, all over asking questions. And I'll call Scott Titmus or the E-Twins and be like, hey, how are you doing this in Teams? We got to figure out how these teachers are going to organize it. And so it's really a wonderful family. And I definitely would encourage you to become an MIE expert, which is coming up now. I think applications are open. So I definitely would encourage you to become part of that team and that family. Okay, that's all for that little plug. I had to throw it in there. Okay, but for Microsoft Teams, we are really using the meetings feature so much within our district, and it's really what has taken off to help our teachers connect, especially in the beginning when we didn't know how long this was going to go. We really just wanted to really connect and see our students' faces. And so to do that, we have 4 main ways that we're connecting using Teams. So first, teachers have teams, and they are going into their team and creating a meeting and meeting right there in the team. Other teachers are not using Teams necessarily, but they are using the Teams meetings. So they're creating links, sharing it with their students through email, through Skyward, through Remind, and students are joining and immediately joining that team or that meeting, but not necessarily being in a team. Then we also have it through Outlook. So some teachers aren't even going into Teams, they're just creating the Teams meeting right from Outlook. And then we have teachers in Canvas as well, like Justin mentioned, and they're creating their Teams meeting right there within Canvas, which, by the way, if you've not seen that, it is phenomenal. I think it is very nice, easy. I love the integration. So thank you, Justin, and Canvas for making that happen. It's great.
Yeah, it was one of those COVID-19 hackathons, if I will. Many sleepless nights putting that together, and just props to the Canvas team, but also all of our other learning management system partners. We went from not having any integration to having one within a week, and it was really incredible to work together on that.
That was amazing, and so instrumental and perfect timing, because that's exactly what our teachers needed. They wanted to see their students' faces. So thank you for doing that. Also, one of the things we've really talked about with our students and our teachers is creating norms within our meetings. So we want to make sure students understand this is a time that we're coming together for academics and how to act in that style and in that way, because this is the teacher's classroom, just like they use and set up norms in their normal classroom. We also want them to do that online. So we've created graphics and held little PD sessions over doing that as well. All right, Mike, let's move on to the next one. I'm supposed to cheer. Mike.
Yeah, I did. Is it taking a while to update?
There it is. Okay. Speaking of our virtual sessions, our boss, Cindy Tucker, did such an amazing job coming up with a PD session for us, or a PD plan for us. So she actually created a Word document and inserted links And throughout the week, every week, we have PD sessions for our teachers that they can jump into and see. And then afterwards, she records them, puts the stream link right there back in the same document so that way they can always find it. And so it's a great way for us to hold PD sessions in Teams, but also teachers can see what it's about and really follow along and join when they need to. We also hold virtual office hours. So we have one Teams meeting link that never changes, and we are there from 9 to 4 every day for our teachers to jump in and ask questions. So it's a great spot for them to easily access us and really help, we can help walk through anything that they may have or any questions they may have. So we love that Teams meetings are easy to share with a link. All right, Jenny, I think it's your turn. On the next slide.
There we go.
All right. So, and one thing that I want to make sure to mention is in our district, we also do have the classes integrated. So we have the school data sync on. So that has been great for our teachers because before we were even using Teams regularly, they had Teams available and the students, everything was on for them. So that has worked really, really well for us because we haven't had to go through the processes of getting all that on. So it was on already. The only thing we have been creating for a lot of our departments and teachers are PLC teams. And so they might request one and our department has the ability to create those teams. So that's really kind of helps streamline so there aren't a lot of random teams created in addition to the ones that they already have for their classes. So that's worked really well. And one thing that we really have encouraged our teachers to utilize is the channels feature. So hopefully you're aware of the organization that you can add to your team by creating channels. So you can see on the pictures here next to the name of the team, the 3 dots, the ellipsis there, you can click that and you have some managing options there where you can add channels and add members and different things. You can even make some of these channels private. So this is a few examples of how some of our teachers are using the channels. And we just think it's a great way to maybe organize by content or even have, like, our teachers have a morning message for their students every day. So they have an area where they're posting a video of them, saying good morning, and some of them even tell a joke or, maybe announce birthdays or just different things to keep that communication going with their students and talk about the day and the lessons that they're going to be doing and maybe a meeting that's coming up that afternoon as well. So the one on the right here, Miss Blakely, she even has a recess time. So her students still get together and have recess. Sometimes they have show and tell, or they'll do Go Noodle and do some different activities together. And then even the parent Q&A. So some of our younger students, the parents are obviously getting in and helping the students join. But then if parents have questions, they can add their questions there as well. And so just having channels has really been helpful to kind of organize the content so everything's just not all jumbled in the general posting area. And then even a student chat area. So we've encouraged our teachers to maybe make an area where students to just communicate in that area so it doesn't jumble up the main general posting area. So definitely utilize channels if you haven't explored that because it can really help organize your content. All right, we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, announcements. So this is one of our favorite features in Teams. So if you have something that you want to share, whether it is a meeting link or it's an upcoming assessment or just information that you want to stand out, you can utilize the announcements feature. So you can find that in the general channel there or in any of your channels under the post where you make a new conversation post. And it's kind of hidden up at the top, but you want to make sure that you choose announcement. And what's great about it is you can select to post to multiple channels. So you can definitely send that announcement to your cross channels. And then you can even add a really fun background. So Sallee loves the dragon and the disco ball. Those are some of her favorites. And you can pick different colors and just make that stand out. So definitely something that you want your students to make sure they see. We really encourage the use of announcements. Okay, I think the next slide. All right, so this is another example of how we are, one teacher in our district is utilizing the chat area, and she put in an area for students to sign up, and we removed the names just for privacy, but the students have gone in and signed up for a time, and then she'll individually call those students to set up an individual meeting with her so that they can chat. And I think one thing that's super important in this time is just being able for students to still see their teachers. So another thing I would really encourage is just, I think office hours are great, but I really think those meetings are so important, because I've seen in my own 4 personal children that when they get to see their teacher and they get to hear their voice and actually hear communication from them, it makes a big difference, because sometimes all of this information coming in many different ways can be overwhelming. So I think just hearing your teacher's voice. So hopefully you are having those meetings, and just those actual voice to, face-to-face or voice calls is really important. Okay, I think the next one, this might be, oh, it's still me. Okay, so on this one, so assignments and using forms. So another way that you can really help keep everything in one place is utilizing assignments in Teams. So with assignments, this is just a great way for students to be able to kind of keep track. Like, we love checklists and, just some type of chart for students to be able to keep track of what they're doing. And our district has done a really good job. The curriculum department puts out a document each week that has may do activities. So we have kind of like a must do and a may do. So there's optional activities, extension, there's even fun family activities. So they've done a really good job putting together lessons for students, in addition to like the power standards that we're focusing on, and the meat of the content. And so teachers have a little bit of flexibility in how they're structuring their actual lessons on a day-to-day basis. And then every Friday or at the end of the week, they'll have performance tasks. So we've really been helping our teachers create assignments. So the picture on the left shows an example of an assignment that's created, and I think explaining in as much detail as possible in an assignment is critical, because you want to include those links, put the directions, and then you can always attach resources. So in this example, there's a link attached, and then you can even attach a Word document, or you can attach a OneNote page, whatever it is that goes to that student, and then they have their own copy to edit. So my daughter was working on a response this morning, and she loves using the dictation feature. So she opened up a Word document, had to respond to a story that she read, and she used the dictation, and then she went back and did her editing and revising. So I think that's critical. Her keyboard is also missing a few keys, so that also helped her get her typing correct. So that was a good thing for her too. But on the right, you can also see here was an assignment done with forms. So forms is another addition that you can add to an assignment. And what's great about forms is it grades automatically. So you can see here in the grade view that it was graded automatically because of the form that was put in here to the assignment. So lots of options with assignments and giving feedback to students. So we think that that's critical. That's so cool, Jenny. I had a question. I often talk about the future of assignments and how that might transform in the future. With the total shift to remote learning, have you seen a difference in the types of activities that have been assigned, the types of things that teachers are finding? I saw that one assignment example you had there, which had a reference material, which was a link to an article or something on the web. Have you seen anything else that teachers are doing inside of assignments? Yes, lots of different variety. I mean, some of them are having, like I'm just thinking of my own 4th grader. So she had to respond on a double bubble map. She had to, read a story. She had to go in and draw. They're having to, respond with writing. They're having to do math. And I love the freedom and flexibility that they're giving students as well, too. So whatever works for them, whether it's writing it, which in my daughter is printing everything, and I'm like, you don't have to print, but using the dictation, using the immersive reader, using all of those tools that they have now, that for our students, they have a device in their hands, which is great. And our district is also, we lease our devices, so we just got board approval for over 10,000 more devices to be leased. And so we're really working hard on putting a device in every student's hand so they have access to all of these materials. But so many, I mean, Sallee, you can speak to if there's just.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of Flipgrid use. Nearpod. So teachers are embedding their Nearpods inside of Teams as well. So we love that partnership as well. And then they do a lot of scavenger hunts, a lot of things, like teachers are encouraging them to be both online and also offline, and doing things tangible as well. So that's a nice mix of the two, which I enjoy and like. One thing I was sharing with you guys earlier was that I also love like Office Lens for my son, because sometimes I'm using the computer or he can't figure it out on his own. He'll print it, he will write it out, but then we'll use Office Lens to make it digital. And I think that is such a great way, or even you can use the OneNote app or the OneDrive app also does the same thing. And I think it's such a great way for our students to be able to be in both the digital and physical world at the same time in this remote learning time. Yeah,
it's so cool. I also love that must do and may do in the assignment itself, and a little bit of student choice there, and what they can do and what they may have time for, capabilities. Yeah, that's great. We've also seen a big jump in our mobile usage, right? So students accessing it from their mobile device directly, and for sure.
And that's actually, when you said choice, that's actually what the curriculum may do activity as a choice board. So they're giving them, they put out a choice board every week for the students to choose, and it is great because you're going to have those students that are going to get all the must-dos done, and they crave extra work, and they love that creative piece that it enables them to do. And I love the turn-in celebrations too. I know my daughter has a couple times not clicked turn in, and so I said, make sure you see your celebration. She was doing it today, and she's like, I wonder what I'm gonna get. Do I get the ice cream? And so it was exciting to see.
If you've never seen a turn-in on Teams assignments, check it out and tweet us what turn-in celebration you got. We would love to see it.
We also love rubrics. The rubric grading is phenomenal in Teams. I think that was one of the very first things that we learned about when we started using it a few years ago, and we loved it because it's super easy to create a rubric. I can upload my own rubrics, I can save my rubrics, and then as I'm grading, the thing that I love about Teams is I can actually type straight into the document that the students have turned in. So like if it's a OneNote page or a Word document or PowerPoint, I can actually comment straight into it while also clicking through my rubric on the side and grading it, and then even giving feedback there as well. So I feel like it's so innovative in the ways that I can communicate and connect with my student through their work, and then also efficient for me as a teacher. So I love that rubrics give students standards and expectations up front. They know exactly what's expected. They can work on it and make sure that they're meeting your expectations. And then afterwards, as a teacher, it's efficient for me, and I can go through and quickly grade my students' work. And I just think I love the way it's integrated into Teams. So kudos. If you haven't used it, definitely go check it out.
And that just makes me so happy. That's so.
Our other new favorite feature in Teams is Insights. If you have not seen this, this is the time right now. You are going to want to stop everything, go to your Teams, open it up. It's going to blow your mind, especially right now during remote learning. So our teachers also have to have our students check in once or twice a week, so that way they know that they are connected and make sure that they're doing their work. And Insights does it automatically for you. So here you can see on the screen a picture of one of our classes. Her students are listed, and this is a 7-day view. So I can see, I don't know if you can see those little gray marks, but that's actually every single time the students access Teams within that week. And then, Mike, if you go to the next slide, it will even show you what they accessed. So I can click on it and I can see from 8:50 to 10:30, this student had 5 channel messages, replied to 5 channel messages, viewed assignments, turned in assignments. It was everything that kiddo did during that time. And as a teacher in remote distance learning, I love that, because now I'm able to see what are my students actually accessing, what are they doing, and it really gives me a picture into their school day. So I definitely suggest you check out Insights, take a moment, look at it, try it out. What's even better, you can export all this data to an Excel document. And so then you have data you can give to your principal or whoever might need that tracking to be able to say, this is what my kiddos were doing during distance learning. So I think.
And honestly, I'll just add onto that the team that's working on this, the team that Justin and I work closely with, they actually just added this whole digital activity was kind of like a hackathon as well, meaning they sped this up and got it out to teachers within a couple of weeks, and it's really, really useful, especially for distance learning. So kudos to that team too in terms of reacting to educator needs.
It's amazing. And then it gets better. Like I keep saying that, I feel like it's my infomercial from Microsoft. It gets better. There's more. I also love that you can break it down by communication as well. So you can even see like how many posts were made, how many replies, and how many reactions each student individually made. So here's like a picture of the whole class, but I can also click on those students individually, and you can see on the totals on the other side how many each one of them did. So it really dives down into how are my students communicating and what are they saying, and really growing within my class. So it's been very eye-opening for me once we looked into it as soon as remote learning started. So it's all right. I think that may be all.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Jeni and Justin, thank you so much for joining today. I think this is a huge amount of really useful and relevant information for those millions and millions of people who are really hopping and trying out Teams for distance learning right now. And so a lot of really, useful pieces that I think people can take away and try out tomorrow and explore in their own classroom. So thank you so much for joining us today. Now, in terms of our recap, just to recap, we have the Teams Quick Tip Videos playlist, and some of the things we saw today are on there. Some of them aren't. There's a lot of just core Teams efficiency tips out there as well. The whole realm of Teams meetings updates that we announced some today, we had some last week. Those are all on the blog. And then those frequent links that Maryline put together that are really helpful for navigating all the different resources that are out there right now. And today's PowerPoint, so all those great examples you saw from Jeni, the slides from Justin, those are all posted in our PowerPoint that will go live probably tomorrow morning. And then our entire YouTube playlist of all our different shows. I think this is number 17 or 18. I'm kind of losing track at this point, but there's a YouTube playlist on Microsoft Education that has each of our videos. And then be sure to file a support ticket if you need help or need to get assistance. We've got a bunch of support agents that are just focused on educators and helping them out. So file a ticket there. And then in terms of what's coming up next, we've got Hacking STEM tomorrow. So Ankur and the Hacking STEM crew and a couple educators will be joining us. We've got the legendary Leslie Fisher on Wednesday the 15th, and I think Justin might be stopping in for that one. That one actually, it'll be a mix of serious and funny, because when you're hanging out with Leslie, it can't be all business. You got to have fun. So that one should be fun, talking about webinars and PD and the age. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And then Valentina Denardis is going to be here on the 16th of Thursday doing Teams and OneNote in higher ed. We don't always have as many higher ed folks, but Valentina is doing some incredible things with Teams for remote learning right now. So you want to check that out. And our full schedule is below, so you can get the little iCal calendar items to get a reminder in your calendar. The links, the PowerPoints, all that stuff is in that link below. And thanks again to Maryline, who's been behind the scenes making sure everything works and running and producing all of these. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.